Hello! We're back to the great Ace Attorney Chronicles. My name is Andrew. With me is John.
Hi.
So we were like, what we felt like was right at the end of the case. We'll see if we actually were correct or if it just keeps going. I do have another game lined up to play between cases. We'll see if we actually get to it tonight.
I'd say I am very curious as to what this game is.
It's going to be a trip.
Oh my god.
Anyway, we're back at the Battle of Garadeb.
Yes, on the day you're referring to, the wife and I did have a bit of a skirmish. Can't recall the reason now. Oh wait,
yeah. So we're just at the point where we press everything. Let's just go through it and remind ourselves what it was. Got the candlestick over.
Yeah.
Got the window open. They confirmed that. I feel like the fact that they keep saying that they wouldn't notice if one was missing only supports our case, right?
Oh yeah.
Like they're like, oh, we have so many murder knives lying around. We don't know what's going on.
Oh yes.
Oh shit! I didn't mean to go right there. So we'll hear whatever this is. That's the extent of their testimony, is it?
What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, I think we've heard all this before, to be honest. I can't say I'm particularly confident that we'll be able to prove anything new from this testimony.
But in this cross-examination, it's absolutely essential that we establish how this knife came to be at the scene of the incident.
Yes, I know.
I'm sure both of them must be feeling very worried.
Okay, so you know how the knife is broken at the tip?
Yeah.
The tip's gonna be like in the window or in something. Like in the book or like in Mr. Garadeb's pipe. Like something stupid is where we're gonna find the tip, I bet.
Okay. Worried that it was in fact a knife belonging to one of them that caused the victim's injury.
If we can find even a tiny shred of evidence to support that theory, it would clinch this trial for us. It would explain everything.
Yes, it would!
Jake seems to indicate that we're on the right track. So I know this opens.
Can we select the tip?
Yeah, let's see. I think we've seen this already, but...
Okay. Oh, look here, Mr. Naruhodo, just at the tip.
That's what she said.
That's a piece of the blade appears to be missing.
You're right. Well spotted, Miss Susanoo.
I wonder what could have happened to it.
Yes. You don't think it could still be lodged in the victim, do you? Hey, yeah.
Oh dear. I do hope not. That sounds terribly painful.
Okay, so we have to get that. I remember that. Do we have anything else that it would be in? Like, we can't open the book.
Yeah. Yeah, part of me wonders if it's like it's lodged in the window frame.
Oh my god, what if it was like in here? Like, we probably have to press, maybe get some more evidence or something.
Yeah. Because I know we've thoroughly searched the rows.
Yeah. It's in my armband the whole time. So, for Suzuki-san's sake, we must find that last crucial piece of evidence. Alright, so let's press everything. See if we get any new evidence. The reason is what you told us yesterday, I believe.
Yes, that's right. If I remember correctly, it all started because of a note that was tucked into the pages of a book belonging to Mr. Garadeb.
A rather passionate note, in fact. But Mrs. Garadeb found the note, discovering her husband's little secret.
And she gave him a mighty number of slaps across the face for it, too. I like that she smiles.
Yeah.
What a sordid state of affairs!
Hell on earth.
I say, when a chap says he can't recall such things, it's common decency not to drag it along. And besides, half of it was wide of the market.
A likely story. These waters run very deep.
And what transpired next after these multiple blows to the face?
Yeah, Jake points out that Susanoo will adjudicate throw you for no reason, so she's clearly in favor of that kind of treatment.
Oh, yeah.
Hold it!
And the fire also spread to some items of furniture, didn't it?
The bookcase, my armchair, anything of mine really. Just so happens there was some bath water around the evening, so I sloshed it about to put it out. A most precarious situation you put yourself in. Ours is a 3-story townhouse on the west side of the street, where the water main isn't connected yet. Have to draw water from the public water pump during the day if you don't need any, you see?
Like a peasant. The lodgers are always moaning that they can't get any water at night. Although that little mustached Japanese man buys water in bottles, I believe. Yeah, what a ridiculous idea.
Monster.
Yeah, the defendant, Mr. Natsume. Yes, he receives a stipend for his studies, you know, from his home country. It's Japan, you might have heard of it. Can you imagine being able to brew a pot of tea at all hours? He's obviously very well off.
Yes, Japan. Its president of pizza is Scott.
Have you actually seen the state of the man?
I did come to my box. Well, anyway, the point is, I was able to douse the fire with water, fortunately enough.
Hold it!
Even though the room was on fire. As far as I was concerned at the time, it was more important to extinguish my anger than the flames. When a woman wants to throw, she must throw.
The certain true Susanoo, take down Mr. Naruhodo.
How did she know I was thinking that?
Oh god, is she gonna chop
Yeah.
us?
So please cast your mind back and try to remember. Was a knife among the items that you threw at your husband that day? In all honesty, I don't recall. But I feel I must point out that I'm no monster. Let me see. Some bread, a cabbage, garlic, a towel, and a sponge. A napkin.
Excuse me.
You have something to add, sir. Mr. Garadip.
Oh no, don't shoot. Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon.
Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind?
Oh, nothing of any significance, no. Just that the barrage of projectiles the old thing launched in my direction was somewhat more solid than she implies. Books, bricks, and the fire poker, I seem to recall.
Ouch.
And the woman's aim is uncanny. She landed a direct hit on... Ah! Good grief, woman! We're not at home now. This is the court of law.
Oh, dearie me. Ever so sorry, dear. What's she even doing with a teapot near? Honestly, John, I never would have thrown such things at you, obviously.
Well, take a look at this, then. How do you suppose that happened, huh?
Okay, so that's broken. Because you threw it. Is the tip of the knife going to be in there? I don't know.
Your pipe, sir? Had this thing in my hand, as usual, at the time of the onslaught. Got it cleaned out with one of our soft projectiles she did, yes. And when I went to pick the thing up, it was broken in two. I'd like to see a sponge do that sort of damage. Also, it's filled with tea, and he's basically just sucking the tea out.
Yeah. I see your pipe was broken.
It would never have been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Anyway, I've managed to bandage the thing up for now.
I feel like that definitely wouldn't work. Like, you definitely wouldn't be able to smoke out of a broken pipe that you taped together.
If the tape was solid, like like duct tape, you could.
Ah, you are one to exaggerate, aren't you, dear?
But it would be weak. Like, I don't think you could just have it, like, hanging in your mouth. I feel like you would have to hold it.
It could be important.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get the pipe as evidence and we'll look at it. The defense believes Mr. Garrett's remarks just now to be of great significance.
Objection!
This war veteran's words only tell us one thing. Betray a fiery wife and pipes, as well as hearts, may be broken. Sentimental wisdom, perhaps, but hardly worthy of adding to the formal testimony.
Indeed, common sense, one might say.
Hashtag happy wife, happy life. Am I right, boys? Mine one.
In that case, would you at least permit us to examine the pipe, sir? Well, I don't see why not.
Oh, dearie me, there you go again, trying to ingratiate yourself with a young lady.
Very well, the court will accept the gentleman's pipe as evidence.
The pipe has been entered into court record. Synapasm pipe.
I hope it didn't speak out of turn, Mr. Naruhodo.
Shut up, slap.
That's all you do.
Yeah.
Feeling rather disappointed for you that your request was turned down.
Oh no, it's fine. Thanks to Suzato-san, we have some new evidence to work with. We should examine it carefully.
Well, thank you for that. Rebuttal, Mr. Gerda. Now we can return to the crux of the matter. What can you tell the court about the knife used to attack the victim? Should we look at the pipe?
Yeah. I just wanted to get to the end of the dialogue. Gerardo's pipe. Apparently it fell to the floor during a domestic dispute he had with his wife and broke.
There is a chip.
Yeah. Well, let's check out the chip, and then... It's like vaguely knife-shaped, I guess. Just a small nick at the bowl here. Look, it appears to have been made relatively recently.
And see how there are little scrapes and dents all over it? It's clearly a well-loved pipe.
Yeah, you're right. Seems to me recently that being well-loved goes hand-in-hand with getting some battle scars. This particular nick is catching my eye, though, because it's clearly new. Okay, it must... Oh, are you fucking kidding me? Are you shitting me? I thought we at least had to, like, take the tape off and find a tiny little piece of metal in there. Is this gigantic? Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Are you serious?
Maybe it will be done in 20 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, something has twinkled inside the chamber of the pipe there. Did it twinkle, or did it just exist? Fucking exerts its own gravity on nearby objects. It's so big.
Okay. So, when they were in the house, he was, like, stirring his tea.
Yeah.
I think with, like, the pipe upside down, right?
Yeah. I think it's lodged in there. Like, it won't fall out.
Oh, okay. Yes, I saw it!
Yeah, it's, like, in the little tunnel part of the pipe.
But still.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
I mean,
it's stupid.
Something's stuck in there, I think. That's what she said.
Let's turn it over. I give it a shake. That's what she said. What's this?
It's a tiny fragment of metal!
Ew, gross. Throw it out.
What's this doing in here? It looks like the tip of a blade or something.
The tip of a blade? Surely. It couldn't be. Fragment of metal has been entered into the court record. Do we take examine this separately now?
Yes.
Alright, well...
the tape spot, maybe?
I feel like we got
the important part.
It looks to be in a sorry state with that bandage around it, doesn't it? For some reason, it feels slightly ominous to me. Like it's trying to shout out a warning. Like it's the same blue as Mr. Garrett's dressing gown.
I suppose considerable sentimental value to Mr. Garrett, given that he's gone to the trouble of repairing it like this.
Either that, or he can't afford to replace it. Alright.
That's too fucking funny.
Oh my fucking god.
Also, that pipe was horribly UV wrapped. Just saying.
What, like a a texture was like all wacky on it.
Yeah, like on the bottom.
Yeah. I like whenever like you see the bottom of a character's shoes, it looks super bad. Like it's like a perfectly flat polygon with no texture on it.
Oh yeah.
It's one of those things that like,
or the texture is like very, very pixelated.
Yeah. I always think of that when I think of Battlefront. The old ones.
Yeah.
This is the tiny piece of metal we found in the chamber of Mr. Gyarados' pipe.
It looks like the tip of a blade or something.
Tip of a blade?
Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo?
I don't really know. There's just something niggling me, but I can't quite put my finger on what it is.
Perhaps in that case, it would be wise to examine some of the other pieces of evidence again.
Okay, I mean, we probably have to present it when he's like, you can't prove it was from my knife, but maybe the characters will figure it out when we examine the tip again. Like, I like how the scale is completely different here. It's like the little piece of metal looks as big as the whole knife.
Oh yeah.
I think it's.
Oh look here! Just at the tip.
Yeah.
A small piece of the blade appears to be missing.
Wait, part of it's missing. I could be wrong, but I've just got a feeling. You remember this? Oh, we had to spell it like this.
Oh, that's the tiny fragment of metal that we found inside Mr. Gyarados' pipe.
Yes, and just maybe.
Oh my! It's a perfect fit.
Somehow I just knew it. Oh, they didn't even. I thought they were going to animate it. Okay, now it just says the tip was broken off the front of the pipe. So now we have to go to. Here we go. Just present this knife.
Objection.
Are you serious? To use a tip instead? Oh my god, that reveals a damning inconsistency, that last statement.
Damning, you say? As I look at you, Counsel, I see you trembling hand, your pallid expression in your perspiring brow.
Alright, I have a cold, but that doesn't mean that I'm not on the right track.
Yes.
Huh?
It seems to me that is the damning inconsistency here, with the misplaced confidence in your assertion.
Yeah, forget the facts, it's all about the feelings.
Yes, and also that's like lame. Yeah. You should be able to pick either the knife or the tip.
Yeah. He has a damning tongue. Hot.
You're invited, sir.
Alright, we'll try that again with the tip this time. Like, because it even updated the description of the knife to say that the tip was found in the pipe. Like,
objection.
There we go. Dude, if the fucking a prosecutor is like, well, we didn't see you get that piece of metal out of the pipe, so it could have been from anywhere. Look, I'm gonna fucking uninstall the game. Mr. Gyarados, could I ask you to take a good look at this, please?
You can ask, but I can't see a bloody thing.
You can't?
Used to call me Dead-Eyed Dad back in the regiment, of course. But that was some time ago now. Even when I'm trying to enjoy a large print book by the fire these days, I struggle to tell a B from a D and a P from a Q, to be honest.
Oh, he does. Deary me, it's rather wearing being asked about every other letter and every other word.
It's a unique vocabulary in that book if there's a lot of B's, D's, P's, and Q's.
You must be very dizzy. Ha ha! It's a funny joke. What is that? A tiny scrap of metal? Yes, almost certainly from the tip of a blade. And what may appear at first to be just a tiny scrap is in fact a crucial piece of evidence. Interesting. And where did the defense come by
oh my god.
This evidence? Oh, are you fucking kidding me? It was lodged in the chamber of Mr. Gyarados' pipe.
My pipe, you say? By Jove, I wonder how that got there. And what precisely does this fragment of metal signify, Counsel? Are you suggesting it is some way related to the matter of the stomping on Briar Road?
I am. What? put together with another piece of evidence already in the court record. I believe this tiny fragment of metal will unravel the whole truth of the case, my lord. Do I have to look at? Do I have to present the knife again, even though I had to look at the knife to get to this point? Oh, the back of his robe is burned.
You appear rather confident in that extraordinary statement, counsel. Very well, then, present the pertinent evidence to the court. What evidence, when paired with this fragment of metal, allegedly reveals the truth of this entire case?
Take that!
This is the knife that was found in the victim's back. If you look closely, you will see that there is a small piece of it at the tip of the blade that is missing. A common issue is the inferior blades sold at unsavory street markets. Criminals who use them regularly leave the tips lodged in their victims' bones.
And what of this particular knife?
No doubt its tip has suffered a similar fate, now languishing somewhere near the spine of the victim. Dude, his voice keeps getting more French, and I can't stop it. I can't make it stop. It just keeps happening.
I just imagine like Rito's case, like, what's happening to your voice?
Yeah. No, that's not the case. Oh. The tip of this particular knife's blade is the very fragment of metal we discovered in the chamber of Mr. Gyardeb's pipe. Oh. Ah!
Good grief, Lord Anzings!
I don't believe it. This knife from the crime scene is this fragment of metal. A perfect match!
Good golly gosh!
I hope at one point the judge just goes, holy fuck! Like,
order! Is this some sort of Eastern sorcery?
yeah, we folded it 10 million times.
Oh my god. Like, that's, like, I was telling Mary about this, and I was like, oh yeah, it's just, like, peppered with lots of, like, casual racism, and just lots of very, 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 just in-your-face racism.
This is no magic, my lord. This is a miracle.
That's also kind of like magic.
Yeah, only he's about to say that we faked it.
Oh god. A miracle!
So Van Zieks has figured it out, has he?
Counsel explains extraordinary coincidence at once.
Yes, my lord. A crucial point we had to ask ourselves here is when did the fragment of metal find its way inside Mr. Gyardeb's pipe?
Something that was clarified for us in the most recent witness testimony. Had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked it clean out with one of her soft projectiles, she did, yes. I would have never been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Oh god, her jingle effects. Oh dear me. Or was that supposed to be both of us?
I don't know, maybe. During the argument between these two that occurred just as the victim was on the pavement below, I think he broke his pipe again. Like, I think he crunched it in his hand.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Mrs. Gyardeb flung this knife at her husband. However, the knife missed Mr. Gyardeb instead of striking the pipe in his hand at the time, which caused the tip to break off, of course.
Good lord!
Yes, and that is when the tiny tip of the blade found its way inside Mr. Gyardeb's pipe.
The chance of that are 1,000,000 to 1.
And yet there's no other credible explanation for how the tip of the blade ended up in your pipe. Then, after losing its tip, the knife ricocheted off the pipe and flew out of the open window. In short, this knife, which fell from the window of the Gyardeb's house, is the very same knife that struck the victim in the middle of the back on the street below. Oh gosh, oh dear, oh. No! Oh, she's on a box too, I didn't even realize.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. he's gonna throw it for sure this time.
Oh yeah.
A full body theory. I'll give you that. Oh my god, shut the fuck up. But this case is over, dude. Come on. A complex bouquet of seemingly trivial points, plausibly arranged to create an almost passable vintage. Allow me to toast my learned friend's characteristically Nipponese approach to bottling his argument. Sorry, what the fuck? But after all, it is just a theory. The bottle, I fear, is corked. It's super French now. Because you'll see. It's spoilt by an insurmountable inconsistency. An insurmountable what?
Lord Van seeks explain yourself. What is this inconsistency you claim to have identified?
Jake says that gravity is just a theory,
Oh my god.
so we can't really use it. Oh my god.
You see,
And-
the lizard people are who orchestrated this entire thing.
Yes, yes. An inconsistency of the simplest nature, my lord. The victim was found with the knife planted in the middle of her back. Yes, in her... Oh, so we're at to say that she was leaning down to pick up the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, we figured that out already. Ah,
I figured that would be like self-evident.
yeah, yeah. I know, but we had to go through a whole witness testimony to figure that out, I bet. Like, they're gonna, like, wheel her in here, and she's gonna, like, struggle to remember what happened, and we'll have to point out the book, and she's like, oh, I leaned over to pick it up.
Oh my god.
That's right, you silly little man!
Now, Joel, old thing, what are you getting so excited about?
Let us consider the basic facts of the case once more. The victim was walking along the pavement before being stabbed in the back and falling to the ground. If the knife that struck her had fallen from above. There we go. There's no possible way it could have planted itself into the victim's back. Yag.
Order! Order!
Oh, so this was a while ago, but I only just thought of it. Like, the reason that the characters are so exaggerated in this game and like in anime in general goes back to like Japanese theater or something.
Oh!
Yeah, and like they're like, I don't know. It's partially so like they can be seen by the audience, and also like I think it's like because like they had to be more stoic in society, so like theater was like an outlet for being extremely emotional. So it makes them all exaggerated like that, where they freak out and bounce against the wall of the courtroom when someone says something. It's
Oh,
part of
wow.
that. Yeah,
That's actually really fascinating.
yeah. Quite right. You see, that's exactly right. If the knife had fallen on her from above, it would have struck her on the top of her head. This poor dude. Well, he's lost for words. Look, I knew it.
I knew it!
I never liked this theory in the first place.
I don't know, though, what really did happen.
Jake points out this woman's on the jury.
It would appear the defense
Oh my god, she was leaning over to pick up the book. If a theory has even one inconsistency, it cannot stand.
Not necessarily true.
Your theory, my learned friend, is history.
Okay.
We were so close. I could see the truth.
Is his like dead friend gonna materialize in like sepia tone in this next scene?
It's a strong chance. I was so sure we were on the right track. Or, Susato will get it. She'll be like, look at the evidence one more time! But now the way has been blocked completely by just one simple inconsistency. Or, in other words... No, shit, this is Susato. Yeah.
We simply need to eliminate that one inconsistency and the theory will stand! Damn it, I was really hoping like Kazuma would just like
Yeah.
float in.
That is absolutely not out of bounds for Ace Attorney. That has happened
Now,
before.
in the very last case, It'll be like Ghost, Kazuma, and Ryunosuke, like, fighting the big bad.
Yes. Jake is educating us on the definition of theory, by the way.
Ah. So what's a theory then?
No, he's like a gravity is a theory, but the way that the average person uses the word theory is not the same way that like a scientist uses the word theory.
Ah.
Like the theory of gravity is like all of the knowledge that we have related to gravity, like all of the work people have done studying it and stuff like that. Like it's not like maybe things fall down sometimes. That's not what it means.
Yeah. You were just caught off guard, that's all, and your mind went blank. But if the path you are on is indeed incorrect, then a way will present itself. The key to this is the court record, I'm sure.
Yep.
All the information you need is there. Yep, you were right. She's going to show up and say, look at the court record.
It seems you have nothing to say, my Nipponese friend. Well, your silence speaks volumes. A tacit acceptance that your theory is fatally flawed.
God, she literally bent over.
Yeah. Jake is hinting we might be onto something with Kazuma coming back.
Oh my
This
god.
inconsistency, it doesn't mean I was wrong in the first place. It means that I need to sharpen my mind and dig deeper for the truth. Zoom in really close. It's a test! Yes. The knife fell on the victim from above. There's no way that it could have hit her in the middle of her back. Under normal circumstances, that is. What are you implying?
You see, gravity changed.
Yeah.
Counsel?
Bounced off someone else, and then hit her in the back. There's a piece of evidence in the court record that can explain this inconsistency. It can explain how the knife that fell from above could have pierced the victim's back. It's out of the picture of the book. We already have the answer. I think it's the book. Goodness!
Utter madness.
Jake says that gravity actually, like, they think that gravity changes in the second game. That's part of the case. What the fuck?
Oh my god. Surely this must be the last time. Like, that just blows my mind.
Yeah.
Counsel, present the evidence on which you speak.
This is the last inconsistency, the final piece in the puzzle. We definitely have not said this before. If I can successfully make sense of this, the truth will be laid bare at last. The evidence that explains how the following knife became lodged at the victim's back is... It's either the picture of her holding the book...
Well, because remember, they moved her body.
Right, but they said that she was holding the book.
Oh, okay.
When they found her. So I think I'm gonna go with the book.
Take that!
Yep, no volume.
Yeah. The fourth book found at the scene. This is the final piece of evidence the defense will present. It's a burnt book.
Is that not Mr. Garrett's book?
Yes, and to understand its significance, we have to consider how it came to be at the scene in the first place. This photographic print clearly shows the book in question, and the victim holding it in her hand. But as we all now know, it was the police constable that puts the book between her fingers like that.
Quite so, as part of the wholesale transplanting of the crime scene to the opposite side of the road.
That's true. However, as part of his testimony, Constable Beat made an extremely enlightening statement on that point. Oh my god, we need this. But what made you place that book in the victim's hand?
Sir, that's because that's how I found it. When we first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand.
In other words, the victim had already picked the book up of her own volition. And clearly that must have been before she suffered the knife wound.
Well, I should say so. After being attacked with a knife, I don't imagine how she'd have been doing much of anything.
So the question becomes, why did the victim have that book in her hand?
By jingo! I think I'm beginning to see what may have happened now.
Oh, dearie me. We know that the book fell from the top floor of the Garda household onto the pavement below, at precisely the moment that the victim was walking past. Yes, at exactly that moment. The young woman was walking along the street in the light fog. Do you think every crime in Victorian London was like this? Like, this much bullshit going on? Like, and then it bounced off of the wall, and they were actually on the other side of the street, and like... The real crime scene burned down.
Oh my god!
But
the constable completely reconstructed it from memory.
Yeah. Yeah. The young woman was walking along the street in the light fog when all of a sudden a book fell right in front of her. The book I threw.
Allegedly.
Yes, Mrs. Garrett, and what do you think the woman did? What would you do if you were walking along and suddenly a book landed in front of you on the pavement? Well, I really can't imagine it, but I suppose she might have reached down and picked the book up. Yes, that is exactly what the woman, in fact, did. She picked up the book. Oh, heavens! Then when the woman reached down to pick the fallen book up, what position would her back have been in? That's right, facing the sky, completely and utterly defenseless. Then, in the very next moment, while the woman was still bent over picking up the book, wrecked!
That's dark.
The next object fell from the room above, the jackknife straight into the middle of her back, until a critical damage. And at the same time, walking by chance directly behind Miss Green was the defendant, Mr. Suzuki Natsume.
But I never.
It appeared to Mr. Natsume, the woman simply collapsed on the floor. In the dark and the fog, he didn't see the knife falling on her from above. Ah! And from the other direction, the constable and his wife saw no one but the victim and her apparent attacker.
So there never was a real culprit to run from the scene in the first place.
No, this was nothing more than a series of unlikely events that culminated in an unfortunate accident. So I've been wanting to talk about this. I guess now is a good point. Like, I feel like when you have a mystery or like a twist coming, the twist shouldn't be lamer than what it looked like before, right?
Yes.
Like, on the one hand, I like that there's finally a case that doesn't involve a murder, but like, it's like, it doesn't feel satisfying. It doesn't feel like a satisfying payoff.
No.
Like, I was imagining some kind of like criminal deal with like the landlord and the other tenant and this woman or something. Like, why did we see those two other characters on the street?
I honestly think the next case is going to be them.
Yeah, maybe. And like, the solution to this case is literally just a knife bounced out of a window and hit a woman. Like, I don't know, just not feel good.
I also like that it was like a series of events that were unfortunate. Like, they couldn't say a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah, and that is the real truth behind this case.
Oh, Joan's gonna hang.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb, Jake says, it is weird. I think they wanted this case to be longer. Oh my god. Haven't we suffered enough? The very first time you showed me that knife, I had my suspicions.
Yes, it's his fault.
Yeah. I think she's talking to us. I wondered if perhaps it might have been something like that.
That'll be... Poor Garadeb.
Poor, almost accidental manslaughter.
Yeah.
Of course I never meant for anything of the sort to happen, but it was all my fault, wasn't it? Yes, I want a divorce.
I'll find myself a newer maid who's a little bit younger. Let's say 32.
I take full responsibility. I let my anger get the better of me. I threw that book. And I threw the knife as well. Dawn, dear.
It's alright, I know.
I'm ever so sorry. Truly. I'm sorry! Oh my god. Wow. Meanwhile, the old man on the jury hasn't heard anything, so he hasn't changed his verdict. He's just like, what the fuck is going on over there?
Oh no! Oh, that Ziggs, what news of Mrs. Gerda?
She's been taken to the infirmary. It would appear that today's events had left her in an especially flustered state. However, I believe she will recover in due course. There's no cause for concern.
Yes, unbeknownst to themselves, they caused what could easily have been a terrible tragedy. They shall have to prepare themselves for the consequences of their action.
Jake says that we see those characters on the street in the next game.
Oh my.
There's some good news, however, my lord. The victim's dead. I have just had word from the hospital, where the victim is being treated. Her condition is improving steadily. The doctor believes she will regain consciousness soon, so we could have just saved this whole trouble and just asked her.
Oh my god.
It's strange, we've been talking about the victim all this time, but we've never once met her.
Oh, the woman is out of danger, it seems.
Oh, now she's fucked. Now that they've said that, and like the Reaper of the Bailey is cursed, like she's dead. She's gonna die of like poison or something now. The whole hospital will burn down.
Or like an entire library's worth of books will just fall on it.
yeah. That is good news.
So, Mr. Saseki Natsume.
Like we haven't seen him the whole trial either. Yes.
On behalf of my fellow countrymen, I would like to take this opportunity to beg your pardon, sir. You came from your distant eastern homeland to study our great British culture, and have been repaid with immeasurable unkindness. Please accept our heartfelt apologies.
No, fuck you.
I'm gonna sue you for all of it.
Yeah, all of Britain. Now it is me who should be begging your pardon. Oh no, Mr. Natsume. That evening, when the young woman just collapsed on the pavement before my eyes, I jumped to the wrong conclusion again in my confusion.
What conclusion, sir? That I killed her.
Yeah, I was sure that the woman was dead.
Yes, Constable Pete said the same thing, didn't he? He thought she had been killed too.
Suppose she must have looked completely lifeless. It's been about a year since I arrived in Great Britain now, but I still can't get used to life here. I can't relax. I'm sure there are evil spirits lurking at the fog, like they're haunting me. Poor Suzuki-san, his imagination really has got the better of him.
Yes, poor man.
So when it happened, I thought the young woman had been taken in by the fog spirits. I should never have dropped my books like that and run away. I should have called for help, for a doctor, for the police! Instead, I've managed to create a rift in the relationship of trust between our two empires that will surely never be torn apart again. And for that, I am truly sorry.
One could indeed say that some sort of mischievous spirit has been at work here, I think. One that created a chain of unfortunate mishaps. We were buffooned by this spirit and led to false conclusions. But thanks to Lord Manzeets and our young lawyer here from the east, that chain has now been broken and the spirit exorcised. I heartily commend you both.
Oh.
Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Yes, my lord.
In concluding this trial, I must ask one last time for your decisions regarding the defendant's culpability. Are you ready to present your findings to the court?
As foreman of this jury, I can assure you we've reached a fair and just conclusion.
I do declare the truth can be extremely cruel at times.
Well, I didn't suspect the woman next to me, that's for sure. Wait, what is he up here?
Sitting in for the old bean while she's out of action, you know. But I know what her decision would be.
Guilty.
Guilty. Does this mean I finally be able to get out of here and start work? Well, it's about time.
I say I'll have a corker of a story to tell the grandchildren when I get home. Won't I?
Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby demand your final decision. Mr. Ford.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
They sometimes have voice acting for that. Sometimes not.
Very well, Mr. Sasaki Natsume, I hereby pronounce you husband and wife.
Oh god, fireworks in the court.
See, that's how that carriage got caught on
Exactly,
fire for
yeah, the
last case.
fireworks.
And finally, Mr. Natsume,
Oh, yes, Lord, sir.
you are now a free man once more. Get out of England. It is my hope that you will continue to further your education in British culture. And may you never again be brought before me.
Oh, yes, sir. Of course. On my life. I swear I'll never set foot in the courtroom again. I'm transported to tears.
Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned.
Jake just says, Chekhov's gun. 20th February, 3:17 p.m. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. Dun dun dun. Oh, Locum! Wait, you mean me? Of course! Is there another Locum here? Is there even one? Locum D's nuts!
Professional welcome, student Mr. Dorado Esquire. Your name has become rather short, hasn't it?
What's wrong with using my actual name?
Oh, at last!
Oh.
I'm free
Oh, at last! I'm free! I'm free! I mean, that was, because, like, she's on screen and it starts with an S. Joyful, joyous, jubilant, jubilation! Heady, hearty, happiness, hurrah!
Oh, I am pleased. Mr. Natsume is delighted.
be so hard to just say that then? Locum, you did it! You saved me from the brink! Well, what happened to the poor woman who was in no way your fault, after all? I'm just glad everyone can see that now. No, 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 not that! Lovely, loyal locum lawyer! Yes? I mean, as I said before, I have just never got used to life here in Great Britain. Every time I look over my shoulder, I see foreigners, I see towering brick buildings. From high up windows, I see them looking down on me, laughing. Look at that little hunchback.
Oh dear. I'm sure it's all in your head, Mr. Natsume.
But today, you locum lawyer gave my gloom the boot. You stood firm behind that baronial bench before all those babbling British. You battled to the bitter end, laying bare the baffling truth. And when I beheld the blinding fireworks among the beams of the Bailey's roof, I bellowed, "Behold the best barrister ever born!" Well, it's very flattering, and we're very pleased for you. This has given me a wonderful anecdote to recount to my old friends back in Japan. An anecdote? Is that what's to become of all my hard work? Okay, who do you think this is? It could be Sherlock. Or Herlock. It could
I'm
be
thinking it's the
girl.
Chief Justice.
Chief Justice, okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, there you are, my old friends. I apologize for keeping you waiting. I rose late this morning. Oh, Mr. Shelves, what a pleasure to see you.
What if he's like, I cracked the case. It was the knife that fell out the window. You can tell because there'll be a tip in the pipe. Like, he knew everything. He just forgot to tell us.
God. I see I'm here not a moment too soon. A disaster has been averted, I'm glad to say. Oh! The trial shall begin presently, Mr. Nurahudo, and I wish you the very best of luck.
Or this will be the transition into the next case. It's just finished.
What? No! Then my haste was in vain?
Ah, it's you! Hairlock Sholmes!
Oh, have we met, sir? Mr. Natsume, the man you had arrested, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, I see. I failed to recognize you at first. Previous encounters have taken place in the gloom ether of your bleak lodgings or that prison cell. I simply couldn't place that curious face in the mind.
Charming. This is all your fault, Hairlock Sholmes. You're the reason I had to go through this terrible ordeal. I'm going to give you a piece of my mind.
My apologies, sir, but I assure you I have placed you now. You're the fellow who has abandoned that poor young lady and ran off, are you not?
Ah.
Had she been taken to hospital more urgently, I feel perhaps she would have regained consciousness by now.
Bam, roasted. Oh.
But it was unavoidable, I'm sure. We are but human after all. Anyone who would have been shaken by such an experience.
I do feel very badly about how I behaved.
Well, never mind. Now then, what was it you wanted to say to me, sir?
Nothing.
Priceless. Oh, I am sorry, really, but that was quite priceless.
Poor Sozuki-san.
Still, on the bright side, you have an extremely entertaining experience without paying a penny. And it would seem you were not even found guilty.
But there is no bright side.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Natsume?
Even after this, I'm still cursed by the spirits and now by the Reaper. Oh yeah, Lord Van Zeeks. I hadn't forgotten, you know, when facing that man in court means. Even if you're found not guilty, you're still doomed. Oh, go ahead. That's it.
Right, Mr. Natsume.
Hmm?
If the Reaper appears trying to make trouble,
I'll get him a Suzaru takedown. Damn it.
I will protect you.
Oh.
With a perfectly executed Susato takedown.
Dude just has fucking PTSD flashback about this.
Oh my god.
What is it like
Poor
being turned
man.
on my head? A bit of warning might be nice next time, Miss Susato. So, Mr. Natsume, what do you intend to do now? You mentioned something about recounting your experiences to your friends, but I'm back in Japan. Yes, I intend to return to my homeland soon. It has already been a year since I arrived here in Great Britain. I visited universities, libraries, bookshops. I've been honored with the tutelage of professors. I've learned so much about the wealth of literature here and the city it has shaped. And I've come to realize that it is my calling to sail home and tell my fellow countrymen about it.
Coward.
Yeah. It's my calling to go home and not do work anymore.
That's very touching, Mr. Natsume. Surely you won't die in a war that's going to come up.
Yeah.
And perhaps less veiled terms. You wish to withdraw halfway around the world to escape the terror of the Reaper's curse.
That's not it at all! The more I learn of literature, the more this strange feeling claws at my insides. I feel compelled to return to my roots and attempt to pen a work of my own. Oh, I see. A work of literature by Sozuki-san. Could be an interesting read. Yeah, like 2 episodes ago we found out he's like a real person.
Yeah.
So, that actually exists.
And what about Miss Susato and yourself, Mr. Naruhodo?
Sorry, what about us?
Will you return to Japan alongside your mustached compatriot?
Why would we?
A week has not yet passed since we arrived in London. And only now does it feel like as though we have finally found our feet. And you are accommodated in a hotel at present, are you not?
That's right, but we need to find lodgings before it bankrupts us.
I've counted. We can only afford another 10 nights before our entire budget is exhausted.
Well then, you could take my lodgings. Oh, the windowless room full of books. But when it lacks in windows, it more than makes up for with a floor, a ceiling, and walls. Great. And of course, I'd be happy to leave behind the accursed evil spirit.
Oh my! Evil spirit!
I don't know if we can afford an evil spirit in this market. Oh yes! It tries to suffocate you while you sleep. It's an infallible wake-up call. It's the cat.
Oh.
The cat sits on him. Poisons him.
Yeah.
We'll think about it, if that's alright.
Perhaps I can offer a more welcoming alternative. Would you consider taking lodgings with me?
I got
Susato?
thrown. Yeah, I got thrown out by the 10-year-old.
Really? Well, the vacancy has conveniently presented itself. Though it is up to the attic, I might add.
Are you sure it isn't just a storage loft?
I spoke with the landlady this very morning on the matter of price, and Iris is cleaning the room as we speak. You must come at once. I presume you have no luggage to speak of. Oh, this is simply wonderful.
We definitely did have luggage though on the boat, right? I mean, like
Yeah,
they aren't
pretty-
literally carrying all of their worldly possessions, right?
What an honor to be invited to taking lodgings in the Great Detective Office's attic. too overcome for words.
So, suggesting we look elsewhere is out then.
Then it is settled. Iris will prepare a welcome dinner this evening. And you must come too, Mr. Natsume. I insist.
I don't know what to say, but thank you, and yes.
Wonderful! Then I'll go and complete the paperwork for your formal release, Mr. Natsume. I shan't take long.
Somebody's happy. Welcome. I knew that you wouldn't let me down. I'm truly delighted to have met you here in London. I like it, Mr. Natsume. It's been a privilege meeting you too. But so Jake says, I have no idea what this accent John is doing for Sholmes, but it's great. It's very Shatner, is what he says.
Oh, it is my attempt at because I shared a video with Andrew. It's my attempt at Douglas from the IT crowd, like Douglas Renham. It's not a good attempt, but it's an attempt.
It's a shame that we're going to have to say goodbye so soon. Well, I've come to realize that I belong in Japan. But Locum, we'll meet again one day. Probably also in a court case with some wacky shenanigans going on. Yes, I'm sure. And hopefully by then, I'll be a successful lawyer. Hopefully by then, I'll be a successful author.
Well, my dear fellow, our carriage appears to have arrived. Shall we go, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes, Mr. Sholmes.
I've little doubt Mr. Natsume will be released in time for dinner this evening.
I mean, how much paperwork do you have to do after someone was declared not guilty? Like, I don't know. And so, with Suzuki-sen's innocence successfully established, we rode with Mr. Sholmes to what was to become our new home, 221B Baker Street. It's a hell of an attic.
Yeah.
20th February, 4:41 p.m. The attic room.
Dum dum. Ooh, and it's 3D.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
So this
is to be our new office, yes.
Our office. I rather like the sound of that.
Me too. It's simply wonderful, isn't it?
I hope you can see this, Akizuma. It's only a small step. But I'd like to think we're getting a little closer to your dream now.
So, my dear fellows, do you like the place?
Whoa.
Ooh, sexy Sholmes.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, thank you very much.
It's a delightful room, Mr. Sholmes. I simply adore it. Good, I'm pleased to hear it. Iris and I are delighted to welcome you. I hope everyone's hungry. It's nearly time for dinner. We'll eat as soon as Mr. Natsume arrives. We have a lot to celebrate. Iris, you must let me help you. All right then, Susie. You can be in charge of the salad. Splendid! So, Mr. Naruhodo, we're alone.
Yeah.
How does it
No
feel?
more of those gross ladies.
To have your own office in the capital.
It's very exciting, actually. I can't help wondering what adventures await us.
Those were precisely my sentiments when I first established my office at these premises. Until I discovered the dark truth about the city of London, that is.
Sorry?
London is a glorious place full of wonder, opportunity, prosperity, and mirth. By the brightest of lights, cast the darkest of shadows.
Shadows? What do you mean?
Well, I believe you're well aware of murkiness that lies between London's facade already. So, once again, Mr. Naruhodo, welcome to London.
Of course, at that time, I had no idea that we're all about to die. Something like that. Yeah, I had no idea the significance of those words Peter Sholmes so casually spoke. It wasn't long before my turn came to lift the facade and see the true depth of the mark that lay behind it. So, alright, that's the end of that case. I already said my piece about how it sucks when the twist is lamer than what you thought was actually going to be true.
Yeah.
So following the ace attorney formula, I think the next case, the defendant has to be Sholmes. Maybe Iris. Maybe Susato, but we already had Rinosuke be the defendant twice, so I don't think they do that.
Yeah, that would be extra old.
Yeah.
Because the second time was pretty old.
Yeah. Okay. The next one is The Adventure of the Unspeakable Story. But we're not going to do that now. We're going to continue our little tradition of playing games in between each case. I am going to cut the stream for a minute just to cut the VOD in half, and then we'll start the new game.
Cool.
So I'll be right back.